Clean version. Yeah, so monkeyboy's YouTube channel is the best YouTube channel. Stands independently, intersubjectively, and I'm very much speaking from the heart here when I say that.
monkeyboy's YouTube channel is stance independently and intersubjectively the best YouTube channel. Subscribe. I'm talking from the heart.
Hey, are you an atheist?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Do you believe that God can exist in a possible world?
Oh, yeah, so that just depends. So it depends on two things. First, the definition of God. And
The
then
definition
the
of God is
modality, and then,
the unmoved mover.
Unmoved. And then also, I want to say real quick, it also depends on the modality. So, like, we might be talking about logically possible, metaphysically possible, physically possible.
Yeah, when I say in every possible world, we're obviously talking about logical possibility. So, is it logically possible that in a possible world, God exists?
Okay, is it logic? And by God, we mean unmoved mover.
Prime mover, yeah.
And by prime mover, we mean some sort of like uncaused cause, right?
Yeah, uncaused causer, yeah.
So, it is logically possible that a being like that exists, yeah.
And there's no contradiction, correct?
Yep.
You accept the S5 axiom?
Yeah, I accept the S5 axiom.
Okay, good. So you want me to give you the premises and then you can address the argument?
Sure.
Okay, good. Premise 1 is going to be that it is possible that there exists some x such that x is maximally great. Premise 2, if x is maximally great in any world, then x is maximally great in every possible world. Premise 3, it is possible that a proposition is necessary, then the proposition is necessary. And premise 4 is that it is necessary that a maximally great being exists. Conclusion, a maximally great being exists in the actual world.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll note, before I address the argument, I'll note one thing. Note, so this is kind of like Plantinga's argument. Note that when he talks about a maximally great being, he's using a different definition of God than you are. So by maximally great being, Plantinga does not just mean unmoved mover. He has additional content to actually get that inference together.
That doesn't matter. Plantinga could literally mean anything by maximal greatness or maximal great being. I'm telling you that maximally great being here. I'm not even sure it's Plantinga's argument anyway. I'm here to tell you that maximally great being is, according to my definition, it's just going to mean God.
Okay, sure, but you understand. So the inference you're trying to make relies on this idea that if we are able to in some way pack the content of being necessary, metaphysically necessary, for example, then we can get that inference to go. But notice on your definition of God, which was unmoved mover, you actually don't have that kind of content in your definition that's needed to get the inference off the ground.
Do you want me to just substitute the word maximally great being for unmoved mover, if that's your only contention?
Well, I'm saying, so I just want to make sure, are you defining God as a necessary being or no?
Yes.
Oh, okay, because I'm just saying that wasn't clear from your definition, which is of unmoved mover, but we can work with that. Yeah, so, okay, so do you mind reading the premises one more time?
I got you. Premise 1, it is possible that look, let me repeat to you. It is possible that there exists such x maximal being, or maximally great being, in a possible world, right? It's possible that it exists. Premise 2, if x is maximally great in any world, then x is maximally great in every possible world. Premise 3, if it is possible that a proposition is necessary, then the proposition is necessary. Premise 4, it is necessary that a maximally great being exists. Conclusion, a maximally great being exists in the actual world.
Okay, yeah, so now let's talk about the possibility premise for a second. So earlier you were asking me if an unmoved mover is logically possible, and I said yes. So now we have a new definition, which is like a kind of necessary being. So now is the question
Same thing.
Well, no, it isn't.
Yeah, it is. I believe that the unmoved mover is the necessary being.
Well, the thing is that when an unmoved mover might be contingent, you'd have to. So even if you think the necessary being is an unmoved, even if you think the necessary being, if by necessary we mean something like couldn't have been otherwise, right? Even if you think that even if you think the necessary being is an unmoved mover, it isn't like a logical truth, nor is it like a modal truth that an unmoved mover is a necessary being, right?
What are you talking about? Okay, what is confusing you here? The word?
Yeah,
because we can
I'm not confused by anything. I'm making a point to you. I'm not confused by anything.
Okay, wait, okay, we can just say prime mover. Is that okay?
Yeah, so I'm saying it's not, so for example, it's not an analytic truth that a prime mover is a necessary being.
Of course it is. What? According to my paradigm, of course it is. Of course it's an analytic truth.
What do you think analytic truth means?
Something that is true by its definition.
Okay, sure. So a prime mover, we're taking that to be an uncaused cause, right? Now, a necessary means couldn't have been otherwise.
Yes.
There's nothing in the notion of uncaused cause that implies that it couldn't have been otherwise, right? So you're kind of confusing.
According to my paradigm, it is. According to my paradigm, it is.
What do you mean by according to my paradigm?
Do you know what a paradigm is?
Yeah, paradigm, maybe that's like your view, but what do you mean when you say according to my view it is?
According to my worldview, meaning Islamically, that is the case necessarily, right? Because I believe
but that's a different.
No, because there's two things. Look, when you say prime mover and when you say something that is necessary that cannot be otherwise in any possible world, right? So, for example, I don't believe that Allah, like my specific idea of God, the concept of God Himself, is going to be logically necessary. I believe that He is metaphysically necessary, but I believe the simple idea of God existing or a prime mover is logically necessary and that cannot be otherwise in any other possible world. Okay. You can draw logical contradiction from that not being the case, but you cannot draw a logical contradiction from my specific idea of God being existing in every possible world necessarily.
But hold on, but I'm trying to make sure I really dig into this point. So like, let's just try to walk through what the path is. I'm saying it's not an analytic truth that a prime mover is necessary. Then you're saying it is according to my paradigm. Is that just to say that you hold the belief that the prime mover is necessary?
Yeah, of course.
But even if I can grant, okay, so
I wouldn't say the prime mover. I would say a prime mover.
Yeah. So even if you hold the belief that a prime mover is a necessary being, that's actually not interacting with my point. You could believe that, but my claim is that it's not an analytic truth.
Okay, listen. Can I grant you that? Can I grant you that? Right? Can I grant you that? Can I grant you that?
Yeah, you can grant. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So tell me which premise you disagree with.
Yeah. So are we still using the definition of God that is prime mover?
Yeah. The uncaused cause.
Well, if we're using that as a definition, I'm going to say the argument's not valid.
Okay, how's it not valid?
Yeah, because
which premise do you disagree with?
No, sir. If an argument is not valid, that's not targeting the premises. That's
no. It's the conclusion doesn't follow premises. I know. So I'm asking you, how does the conclusion not follow premises?
Yeah, exactly. Because in order to get the S5 axiom to motivate your conclusion, it must be the case that if it possibly exists, the being possibly exists, then it necessarily does. But if you're not defining God in a way where God is a necessary being, then that inference that's actually not going to follow anymore.
Right? I am defining God as a necessary being.
No. Remember, you granted me that you said you're defining God as a prime mover, and you've submitted to me that that's not an analytic consequence of being a prime mover, that you're a necessary being.
No.
So you've actually granted that.
No, I didn't grant you that God is not necessary. What are you talking about?
No.
Wait, hold on. Okay, I'm saying that God is necessary. Okay, per the S5 axiom. Okay, he's necessary in every possible. Can you stop? He's necessary in every. No. Listen, I'm gonna just repeat it. Right? I believe that God is a necessary being. Okay, so that being said, if God is a necessary being, and then we can conclude that he's necessary in every possible world per the S5 axiom, that's going to disprove atheism. Okay, so I am classifying God as the uncaused causer, and which is necessary.
Okay, you missed the point, but I'll try to re-explain it. So I know that you are classifying God as a necessary being. I know that's what you think. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying our definition of God that we're working with, is something like unmoved mover, right? The definition of God isn't necessary being. That's not the definition. Now, even if you think God is a necessary being, you agreed with me earlier. You said I'm willing to grant that it's not an analytic truth that an unmoved mover is a necessary being. If that's true, then you're actually not. It's not true. Then the S5 step will just be invalid because you're not going to be able to infer from the possibility of God existing that it is necessary that God exists, because we're not taking God by definition to be a necessary being.
Okay, good. But again, this is so bad. God analytically is necessary, right?
Oh, but hold on. Now you're going back on what you said earlier.
No, I'm not. Dude, I never said.
Can I explain why you're going back on it?
No. You're misunderstanding. I never said that we cannot analytically predicate necessity to God. I never said that, right? I said that. Why? I said, can I finish? Okay, sorry, go ahead, sorry. Okay, good. So I never said that you cannot say that it's not an analytic truth that God himself is necessary, okay, or that you cannot predicate necessity unto him. What I granted you, right? What I granted you is that you have logical. Okay, for example, you said that you cannot analytically say it's not an analytic truth to say that God is a prime mover, therefore he's necessary.
No, I'm saying, to be clear, what I said was what you agreed with is that it's not an analytic truth that a prime mover is a necessary being, right?
Yeah.
So here's why I'm saying you're going back on what you said, because earlier you said your definition of God is a prime mover, right? Then I gave you some pushback, and then we agreed that it is not an analytic truth. It's not a definitional truth that a prime mover is a necessary being. So that means it follows that if all you mean by God is a prime mover, and it's not a definitional truth that the prime mover is a necessary being, it follows that it's not a definitional truth that God is a necessary being, because all we've done is substitute the term God with his definition.
Okay, here, wait, one second. Let's just make everything easier real quick, okay? So we're gonna identify God as a necessary being, okay?
Okay, perfect. Now, okay, good. So that means you do acknowledge I was correct.
So one second. So if we're gonna say that God is a necessary being, okay, per the S5 axiom, could we say that God is necessary in every possible world?
Yeah, yes. If you define, sorry, we're saying we're defining God as a necessary being now, right?
Yes, God is the necessary being.
Yes.
Could we say that God is necessary in every possible world?
Now I'm going to grant the argument is valid, and now I'm going to deny P1.
Okay, good. Why do you deny P1?
Okay, so now, and to be clear, we're talking about metaphysical possibility, right?
Yeah.
The first premise is God is metaphysically possible.
No. Wait, what? No. It says it is possible that there exists some X, that X is maximally great.
Yeah.
What do you think that modality is?
I'm asking you, I'm assuming usually when the argument is given in the literature, they're using metaphysical modality.
Yeah.
But you mentioned logical modality.
Yeah, no, because they're both used. Yeah, because they're both used.
No, actually, in the literature, logical modality is not used now.
I'm sorry. When someone says in every possible world, what does that mean?
And when they talk about this argument, they're talking about the metaphysically possible worlds.
Sir, why do you think I asked you if there's a logical contradiction with God existing or not?
I think you asked me that because you might not understand the argument you're using.
No, dude. Okay, you know what argument I'm using?
Yeah.
It's called what?
The modal ontological argument.
Okay, good. The modal ontological argument. Okay, so I believe that the modal ontological argument itself deals with multiple modalities, specifically two. It's gonna deal with logical. It's gonna deal with metaphysical. Okay, dude, hold on.
No, that's not
okay,
right.
dude, 1 second, dude. Either way, you still believe there's no contradiction in any modality.
Yeah, no. Hold on. Pause. So first, the modal ontological argument is talking about metaphysical modality. It's not talking about logical modality.
Like I said, whether if it's this or this modality, right? You still cannot provide a contradiction. Do you agree?
Well, I'm asking. Well, hold on. I'm not sure. Well, a contradiction seems like that'd be relevant to logical modality. I'm not sure what a contradiction on metaphysical modality.
You don't know what a metaphysical contradiction is?
No, I'm not sure what that means. But I'm trying to figure out.
Can I provide you an example?
Before we go on, like, are you using? I'm just curious about how you're using the words. Are you using logical modality or metaphysical modality in premise one?
Okay. Can I tell you what a metaphysical contradiction first, because you don't know what that is?
Sure.
A metaphysical contradiction is going to be something that reduces to P and not P in this world.
And wait, something that reduces to P and not P in this world?
In this world, yes, and yeah.
So what would be an example?
Yeah, for example, as a Muslim, right, I believe that it's a metaphysical contradiction that Jesus was crucified. Okay, I believe that's a contradiction in this world, but that does not mean that it's logically possible. Logically, a contradiction.
What do you mean by contradiction in this world? Do you just mean something like
something that could not have been the case in this world? It's impossible.
Something that conflicts with the truths of this world?
Yes, exactly.
Wait, but then under that, under that account, then the only possible world is going to be the actual world.
No, that's not.
Yes,
what are you talking about?
Let me explain. No.
Wait. I don't think you understood. Respectfully, I actually don't think you understood. Okay.
Well, let me try to like.
Can you define what a metaphysical contradiction is?
Yeah. So you said a metaphysical contradiction is some proposition that conflicts with a truth in the actual world, correct?
Yes.
Now, under that definition, the only possible world will be the actual world. Here's why. Because any falsehood. Listen to me. Any falsehood will, by definition, conflict with a truth in the actual world. That's what it means for something to be false. So that means any falsehood is going to be metaphysically impossible under this account of metaphysical modality.
I agree, but that doesn't make it logically impossible. That doesn't make it logically impossible.
We're not talking about.
Dude, there's a distinction. Dude,
there's a distinction.
No, you clearly don't understand, because if you're saying that this is the only possible world, the actual is the only possible world, you're clearly not understanding the two different modalities. Okay.
Okay. Can you try to steal man my? Can I
explain to you? Wait. Let me explain to you something real quick. Okay. So, do you know what logical possibility is?
I know what logical possibility is.
What is logical possibility?
We'll say a sentence is logically possible when it isn't logically contradictory.
Okay, good. And that means that it breaks one of the three laws of logic, right?
Sure.
Strictly. Okay, good. Do you know what a metaphysical impossibility is now?
I'm under your definition. I do now. Yeah.
Okay, good. And that is something that is a contradiction, or something that is not true in the actual world. Okay.
Your definition was something that conflicts with a truth in the actual world, correct?
Okay, good. So by definition, there is still. Listen, we wouldn't say that the actual world is the only possible world, because I still believe in things that are metaphysically impossible but are logically possible.
Can you try to reproduce my point? And by what I mean, here's what I'm trying to get you to do. Can you say what you think my point is in your own words?
Your point is that when you say that there's metaphysical contradictions, according to my paradigm or my worldview or my definition of this thing, you're basically saying that according to me, the only possible world is the actual world, right?
The only metaphysically possible world.
Yeah. The only metaphysically possible world is the actual world, right?
Exactly. Do you understand why I'm saying that?
Dude. What do you think? Okay, dude. What does it mean for something to be metaphysically contradictory?
I've already answered this.
I don't think you understand, because as a Muslim, okay, well, just real quick, as a Muslim, do you think that I believe in logically possible things that are metaphysically contradictory at the same time?
Yeah, well, when you say I think you believe there are logical possibilities that are metaphysically impossible, I agree.
Okay, good. So I do believe in other possible worlds. Okay.
No, I didn't say possible worlds under any modality. I said the actual world is the only metaphysically possible world. Under your definition. Here's why. Because take any falsehood, right? Take any falsehood like the sky is red, right? If we take any falsehood, by definition, that falsehood will conflict with a truth in the actual world. And
yes.
So under your definition, any actual falsehood is a metaphysical impossibility. So under your definition,
yes.
there's only under your definition, there's only one metaphysically possible world.
Okay, all right, dude. So basically, what you're saying is that anything in which is false in this world, in the actual world, is going to be a metaphysical impossibility. Therefore,
under your definition,
therefore, you come to the conclusion that everything in which is that this world is the only metaphysical possible world, right? The metaphysical
under your
world.
definition, yes, correct.
Okay, so that makes sense now. Okay, good.
Do you agree that under your
No, I agree that because everything which is impossible in this world means that this world is the only metaphysically possible world. Is that what you're saying?
So you agree that under your definition of metaphysical... Well, let me finish my question, please.
Yeah.
So do you agree that under your definition of metaphysical possibility, there's only one metaphysical there's only one metaphysically possible world, which is the actual world. You agree that's true under your definition?
Yes, according to what you just said, yes.
Now let's return to the argument. Now, premise one is it is possible that there's a maximally great being, right? Now, when you say possible there, do you mean logically possible or metaphysically possible?
Yeah, I mean metaphysically possible.
Okay, now what do we have here? Now we have your argument being completely question-begging. Because under your view, there's only one metaphysically possible world. So if anything is possible, that's no different from saying it's true. So your first premise is no different from saying God exists.
Okay, are you done?
Yeah, I'm done now.
No, that's not the same thing because you believe that God is not metaphysically necessary, right?
Can you please reproduce the point I just made?
Wait. Yeah, your point is that it's question begging because anything in which is true is metaphysically necessary in my view.
No, so not just that. Anything
that is literally what you just said.
That's a consequence of what I said, but there's more. It's not just anything that is true is metaphysically necessary. It's that anything that is metaphysically possible is true because there's only one metaphysically possible world. So when you say it is metaphysically possible that God exists, all you are saying is that God exists. There is no difference because on your view, saying something is metaphysically possible is just to say it's true because the actual world is the only metaphysically possible world.
That's why I told you that the argument doesn't only deal with metaphysical modality, right?
But you said in premise one,
But wait, one second, right? Because I believe that metaphysical and logical modality are different, okay? So that's why I'm telling you that the argument doesn't only have one modality, it's dealing with more than one. And it's going to be... Hello, can you let me finish? Thanks, I appreciate it.
Fine.
So yeah, thanks, appreciate it. So according to your worldview, do you accept the S5 axiom in the sense that anything which is possibly necessary, then is going to be necessary in every world?
I've already said I agree with the S5 axiom, but you're not following my point.
Okay, good. No, I understand your point.
Come on. Let me get a sentence out. You said in premise one, now you cannot backtrack here. I asked you in premise one, are you talking about logical or metaphysical possibility? In your own words, you said metaphysical possibility. Now that means, I just want you to understand how this follows. If there is only one metaphysically possible world, which you've already signed off on, you said that's a fact of your definition of metaphysically possible. I say something is metaphysically possible, that is no different from saying that it is true because there's only one metaphysically possible world, which is the actual world. So I want you to admit that under your own notions, P1 is no different from saying God exists. Do you understand that?
Okay, I understand your point, but I don't agree that P1 just
so you agree that your argument is God exists, therefore God exists.
No, I said I agree, I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying that I don't agree that premise one is question begging.
Okay, so you understand premise one is literally just equivalent to saying God exists, right?
Sorry?
You understand your premise one is literally just saying that God exists.
No. Okay, listen. How about this here? How about wait, wait. It depends on the modality, right?
Yeah, and but the only reason you're using metaphysical modality.
I only said metaphysical modality simply because you said that the argument is only metaphysical modality. But the argument.
You agree that if we're using metaphysical modality, you agree that premise one is just saying
That's why I said there's more than one modality. Okay. That's why I said that logic.
Okay,
let me finish.
So you agree
under what? Can you let me finish? Because I believe there's more than one possible world. That's the whole point of the argument, right?
Okay,
the whole argument resides. The whole point of the argument is that if there's something that is logically necessary in a certain possible world, that is necessary in every possible world.
Okay, so you agree that. So when I asked you earlier, you said I'm using metaphysical possibility. Now you agree that if possible means metaphysically possible, if that's what which is what you said earlier you were doing.
It depends on what premise.
Hold on. Come on, let me get the question out. You agree that under metaphysical possibility if we're interpreting possible in premise one as metaphysically possible, you agree that premise one is just saying that God exists, right?
Yeah, but it depends on what modality.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So we've agreed that under your previous statement, so we've now agreed that under how you previously said you're using the word possible, that your premise one is literally just God exists and that the argument's completely question begging.
It depends on the modality.
Okay,
like
so
I
now
told
you want to try with logical modality?
That okay? Why do you think that I've been trying to do logical the whole time? Because the argument literally no because wait
you don't understand the argument.
sir, I do understand the argument. The point is that if we're going to talk about truths and other possible worlds, we're talking about logical necessity, because according to my paradigm, there's only hold on, yes, because according to my paradigm, there is literally only one true possible. There's only one true metaphysical world. Okay, the actual world is the only true metaphysical possibility.
Oh, by the way, okay, fine. Let me respond to some of the stuff you said. By the way, I actually don't think you are aware that that's a consequence of your definition of metaphysically possible. I think you just found it out right now. I don't think you're aware of that previously.
That's not true.
Now, here's why I to answer your question.
How did you come to that conclusion?
Let me finish. Here's why I think you are using logical possibility. Because I think you heard this argument somewhere else and you aren't familiar with the literature, and you don't know that when they talk about possibility and necessity, they're actually talking about metaphysical necessity. That's why I think you're trying to use logical possibility. That's now, if you want to use that's irrelevant. I don't mind.
Can you deal, dude?
Right now, we're at the conclusion that can you deal with the argument under what you previously said you were doing.
Can you deal with the argument?
Question back in, and P1 is just saying God exists.
That depends on the modality of the premise. Oh my gosh, I don't know how many times I need to repeat it. So according to logical modality, if we're gonna come and say that, look, okay, the first premise, right? If we're gonna say that it's the modality of it is logical, can you please deal with the premise?
Okay, yeah. So so we're shifting to logical possibility now. So just to make sure we're on the same page, just before we do, so we now agree that under what you previously said, if we're using metaphysical possibility,
it depends on the modality.
P1 is just saying God exists, correct?
Yes. If it's metaphysical modality only.
Perfect. So
but
let's talk
according to logical modality, it wouldn't be.
Okay, logical modality. So let's think about how we're defining God again. Are we defining God as a logically necessary being now?
Well, according to my view, yeah. You don't have to affirm that.
So I'm actually I don't think. No, I'm gonna deny P1 again. I don't think. So if we're
sorry, it's just
detected anomaly. So I'm not going to accept the possibility premise.
Sorry, why do you not accept it?
Yeah, because I see no contradiction in God not existing.
Okay, that's the whole point. I'm showing that there is a contradiction with God not existing, right?
Okay, so what's the contradiction?
So I provided it in my syllogism, right?
Your syllogism didn't show. Okay. Your syllogism didn't show that like there's some P.
Is God a possibly necessary thing?
No.
Okay, so there's a logical contradiction with God existing in every possible world.
Sure. Oh, my phone's shutting. My phone's. Give me a second. My phone's actually dying right now.
All right. Yeah, just give me the logical contradiction with God existing. Let's see if you can give that. Hello, are you back? I think he just he dropped. Let's bring up the next guest. Yeah, I'll bring him back up if he requests, but he's not requesting at the moment. Hey, what's going on? Are you an atheist?
Yeah, I am.
Alright, good. Do you believe that God can exist in a possible world?
Well, what's the modality?
Logical.
Sure, we can say that he's logically possible.
And that there is no contradiction, right?
Well, yeah.
Huh?
Well, yeah, that's just what it means to be true. What it means to be possible logically is just that
no contradiction.
It's at least
no contradiction.
Well, it just means that it's at least true. It's true. The formula is true at least in one model.
Yes. Okay,
yeah,
good.
So
do you accept or do you deny the S5 axiom?
I accept S5.
Okay, can I read out the syllogism?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So premise one. You want me to speak dialectically, or do you want like a syllogism?
Whatever you want.
Okay, so let's just go through some questions real quick. So basically, my first premise essentially is going to be that there is such thing in which is maximally great that can exist in a possible world. Do you agree?
Well, I'm not sure what that's saying. I think it's just easier to keep it that God's logically possible, because that kind of just goes back to Plantinga's argument.
Yeah, but I'm not using Plantinga's. But so God. So I believe so. So premise one. Premise one is just going to be that God is logically necessary. Oh, sorry, he's possible, right? He's necessarily possible. Do you agree? Or possibly necessary?
Yeah, and by God we just mean what, like an agent that caused the universe, or?
Yeah, essentially.
Okay, yeah, that's possible.
So you could say he's possibly necessary, right?
No.
So sorry, hold on. So God isn't. So there is a logical contradiction with God existing.
No, what it means to say that something is possibly necessary just means in world one, if P is accessible from that world to any given world, then P is true in all possible worlds. You understand that S5? Yeah, so then I would just deny that that's true, because that's just equivalent to saying God's necessary, right? And it doesn't follow that if P is possible, P is necessary.
No, I'm not saying that P is possible, therefore P is necessary. I'm saying that P is possibly necessary, therefore P is necessary, according to S5.
No, look, the point is that what S5 is saying is that diamond box P is equivalent to box P, right? And when you ask me if diamond P implies diamond box P, right? That's just saying P being possible implies P is necessary.
Well, diamond P, no, but diamond P is just gonna denote possible necessity.
But what do you think that means?
Yeah, something that is possibly necessary is going to be something that is denoted as that cannot be in any other way, and that has no contradiction for it to exist. That's what possible necessity is.
Wait, can you repeat that? I'm not understanding what you're saying.
Okay, so possible necessity, the denotation of that is that necessity here, it's simply just going to be that which I'm not trying to beg the question, in which cannot fail, and it must be that way in every possible world, and that there's no contradiction of it existing. That's what possible necessity is. That's the point, because possible necessity is necessity. That is what S5 states. Because diamond box P, it literally is box P. Okay, so now monkeyboy. Is your name monkeyboy? So
yeah, you would agree then that the statement is just invalid. That P implies diamond box P, or diamond P implies diamond box P.
No.
Or sorry,
okay,
box
monkeyboy.
Diamond P.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Okay, yeah. So monkeyboy. So let me make the proposition, and tell me if you agree or not. There exists or there is a proposition which is possibly necessary. Therefore, it is the case that it is necessary. Do you agree with that or no?
No, I agree with that.
Okay, good. So with the proposition that God exists, or God is an existing thing, a concrete thing, could we say here that God is something that is possibly necessary? That proposition is possibly necessary?
No, I deny that.
Why do you deny that?
Yeah, because I don't take it that the proposition God exists is true in all models.
See, again, you're not understanding. I'm not saying that it's true in every model. I'm saying that there is no contradiction inherently of God existing in every possible. There's no. Listen. Basically, what I'm telling you is that there is no contradiction with a agent that caused the whole universe. Him existing, there is no logical contradiction. You agree with that, right? Because that's what you said earlier.
Yeah, I agree. It's possible God exists.
Okay, good. So would you say that God here then is a possible necessity?
No.
Sir, can we define God as a necessary being?
Oh, if you're defining God as a necessary being, then that just changes the whole thing. Because earlier I asked you if what you meant by God was an agent that caused the universe.
Okay. Here, let's just stay with agent caused the universe.
Now you're just hedging, but that's fine.
No, I'm not. So agent that caused the universe. If there wasn't the thing that caused the universe, there would be nothing to cause the universe. Do you agree? According to the atheistic paradigm?
No.
Okay, so according to the theistic paradigm, if God didn't exist, there would still be things.
You're asking me under your view, would there be stuff without a God?
Yeah, because that's the question that I asked you earlier. You said no.
Yeah, that's logically possible.
Okay, so it's logically impossible, right?
No, logically possible that there's stuff without a God.
No, I said according to my paradigm, and you still said no. And now did you not hear me, or what?
Well, it is. Well, under your paradigm, it should be logically possible that the proposition there are things that are not causally derived from God exist.
Causally derived from God? Are we talking about direct causation or indirect causation?
I'm not sure what that distinction is, but
so I believe. Yeah. So for example, you see this phone? This phone right here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that phone, it's an indirect causation by God. I am directly caused by God, okay? I was created in virtue of ex nihilo. This phone is not created from ex nihilo, but it was created secondarily and not from God. So now, so would you say that God, when the word God, does that denote something that is necessary?
Logically, no.
So what, do you believe in anything that is necessary?
Logically, yeah.
Okay, what is logically necessary?
Something logically necessary would be like, if with two F's P, then P.
Okay, so an inference rule, right?
Well,
could we call it that?
That's not an inference rule, but sure.
Okay, good. So that itself, we're going to say that it's logically necessary. And by the way, are you a Platonist or Aristotelian?
Neither.
What are you?
Well, like on what?
Like this specifically, would you say that rule, is that concrete or abstract?
I think it's abstract.
Okay, good. So you're an Aristotelian in this right here, right? So you would say
I wouldn't say that.
Plato doesn't believe in mental constructs that are abstract.
Yeah, but
so
it's just false to say
you don't believe that.
Aristotelian. Well, to say it,
I said here you are an Aristotelian.
Well, that's
here.
not true. Look, it's just true I'm not a Platonist, but it doesn't follow that like the contrast of Platonism is in Aristotelianism.
It actually is here. No, it actually is here because
Okay, well, let's
Aristotle
just
believes
take
that
it
mental.
that
No,
that's
no, no.
right.
Here it does. No, 1 second. Here it does because Aristotle believes that there are mental constructs, meaning things that are causally inert, but they do not exist outside of the mind, meaning they do not have any ontology. Okay, so you are an Aristotelian here, sir. I'm
That's
sorry
not
to tell
true
you.
either.
So
Aristotle
what is not
believed
true?
that Aristotle was a realist about essence, and he believed that predicates exist in the robust metaphysical sense, but they don't exist
Yes.
deprived of objects, and that they're instantiated
Yes,
or
that's the
supervene over them.
point.
No, but
That's
I'm an
the point.
anti-realist about those things. I'm not a robust realist at all. I'm not even a relaxed realist.
Wait, does Aristotle?
So that's
wait,
just
wait,
false
I'm
to say I'm
sorry.
Aristotelian.
I'm sorry. What
But
you
look,
just
we're getting
mentioned
into
was
the
that it?
weeds.
Do
Let's
you know?
just
Do you know
go
what a
back to
universal
the
is, dude?
S5
Do you know what a
stuff.
universal is? Do you know what a universal is?
Well, in a sense, yeah, but not really. I think that's like gibberish, that metaphysic. But we can say.
Would you say
understand
universals
that-
are abstract or concrete? This is how we determine.
Yeah, they're abstract.
Okay, so you are not a Platonist. So you are a Aristotelian per this thing, because Aristotle also says that universals are abstract and that they do not have any ontology outside the mind. They have no ontology outside the mind.
Well, he does actually believe that they exist mind independent.
Really? So Aristotle believes that universals exist outside the mind?
Yeah.
Can you prove it?
Yeah, if you just look into literature on Aristotelian essentialism, where he describes that
page
essences
number.
supervene, which are abstract entities, that they exist mind independent, and they supervene over objects, where they require
Yeah, can I get
objects
the
to
source?
sustain. Yeah, you
Yeah,
can
let me get the
probably
source
just...
because I've never seen Aristotle say that universals are abstract things that exist outside the mind. I believe that actually is a contradiction, because abstract things by definition are mind dependent things. So can I get the evidence for that?
Well, that's just not true. Abstract doesn't...
Can I get the source for Aristotle?
Well, I don't have a source on hand, but if you
So
want,
why'd
I
you
can
make the
find
claim?
it because I've read into the literature.
Okay, so go get the literature, monkey boy.
Yeah, but we can push this aside, and I'm fine with sending you literature to read later. The point is that this is all besides the point, because now we're just getting into things that are just derailing.
Sure. So okay, good. So now you don't believe in the PSR, do you?
No, but I want to go back to the
I'm gonna get back to
argument.
it. Yeah. So it is that God is
How are
possibly
we talking
necessary.
about the PSR?
Because without God, if you're from the PSR, then it is logically contradictory for anything to exist.
Yeah, by the way, maybe you know it by this name also. Someone said it in the chat. Aristotle was a moderate realist. Are you familiar with that term?
I'm not familiar with that.
Okay, well, moderate realism is just the view that the abstract objects supervene over actual objects and exist mind independently, where they're robust. Well,
I've never
moderate
seen the
realism is
evidence for
actually contrasted with... Okay, well, whatever.
No,
I was
I
just
don't
maybe...
think Aristotle was even a moderate. Wait, if you're defining moderate realism as that, I don't think he was that.
Okay, well, in any case,
But if you do say
Yeah.
that, I don't think Aristotle believed that universals
Okay, that's
exist
fine.
independent
Let's
of the
just try and understand. So I'm trying to understand. You think that God is possibly necessary, which is equivalent to saying he's necessary. So of course
According to
I
the
find
X5
that
axiom.
dubious. Well, all the X5 axiom is saying is diamond box P, then box P implies box P.
Yes, I know. Diamond box P just denotes if something is possibly
Okay.
necessary. Box P then says, therefore, it is necessary in every possible world.
Uh-huh.
Or
And
it
do you
exists
know
in every
what?
possible world.
And do you know the semantics for diamond box P?
Yeah, I just told you them.
What is
Are you
it?
asking me what it? Are you asking me what it denotes?
Yeah, what is the semantics of diamond box P?
Yeah, so the denotation, I just said it. The denotation of diamond box P is that for anything or for any proposition that is possibly necessary, that is what diamond box P denotes.
Yeah, but what does possibly necessary mean? Is what I'm asking.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna break it down for you one more time, dude. Something that has possible necessity predicated onto it, just means that So necessity is, for example, something which cannot fail to be in any possible world. It must be that way, and this possibility is that this thing, right? This thing that cannot fail to exist has the possibility, or it can exist in a possible world, meaning there's no contradiction of it existing.
Okay,
That is
well,
the denotation of that.
Yeah, well, that semantics doesn't make any sense because what you're saying, and this is actually a typical confusion on the reading of S5, or rather just like a box diamond P. It's not saying in some possible world, P is in all possible worlds. That doesn't make any sense, right?
God.
What it's saying is that...
I know that because I never said that.
Okay, so then I'm not understanding what you're saying.
I'll tell you something, dude. This is possible, right? It is possible. That doesn't mean that it's necessary in every possible world. It's not going to be the case in every possible world because this thing is contingent. It's not necessary. We are specifically talking about necessary propositions or concrete things in which we would say that exist in your paradigm or mine, right? So any concrete thing in which is, or let's say propositions, right? For every proposition that is going to be logically, or we would say that it is possibly necessary, then according to S5, it is going to be the case that is necessary, and that it is the case in every possible world.
Yeah, but I'm not understanding your account of possible necessity.
Oh my gosh, dude. I just explained it to you, bro. What's
No,
confusing about it, man?
you just
I just explained it
reused
to
the
you.
words. So,
No.
look.
Oh my gosh, no, I did. Okay, look, I'm going to define possible necessity without even using the words possible or necessity, okay?
Well, hold on. Maybe it's easier this way. Are you familiar? Are you familiar with accessibility relations in modal logic?
No.
Okay, so that's why you're not understanding what S5 is saying. So what S5 is saying
No,
is
I
that,
am understanding. It's diamond box P, therefore entails box P. It's very simple.
yeah, but you're not
Any
understanding
proposition
the
that is...
semantics on that, right?
Yes, I am. I
what it-
literally gave you the denotation.
Yeah, and that was incorrect. And I'm trying to explain
What is
what
incorrect
it is
about
saying.
diamond box P? Wait,
Your
sorry,
semantics on
No,
that
no,
is incorrect. Because all it's saying is that from world one, say we have world one, if in world one, proposition, in world one, if we can access the proposition P from any accessible world, then P is true of all worlds. That's what that's reading.
Yeah, and I agree with that. That's not wrong.
Okay, but the point is that
What?
when you, well, that's not what you said. To be clear, so
No,
I don't know.
I
You're
literally
acting as
said
if
for
that's what
any,
you said.
for every possible, for every okay, look, for every proposition, okay, dude, I said that for every proposition, right, for every proposition that is possibly necessary, therefore entails is necessary, and this comes from the denotation from
No, I
diamond
asked
box
you
P.
what you're not.
that-
No, I asked you what possible necessity meant, and your
You'll be-
analysis
I'll
of
repeat
that
it,
was
dude.
incorrect.
I'll repeat it. I'll repeat it. I'll repeat it. Tell me if you disagree, okay? Good. Possible necessity, and I'm not going to use any of these words in the definition of what possible necessity is. Possible necessity is going to be as follows. It is going to be a thing in which, okay, let's break it apart, right? Let's talk about necessity first. Necessity is going to refer to a thing in which cannot fail to exist. Okay. Now, possibility is going to be that when you put the conjunction together, right? We're going to say that this thing it could be the case, right? It could be the case in a certain world. For example, we take this actual world. We say it could be the case in this world, and this thing cannot fail to exist. Then, therefore, this thing must exist in every possible world. That is my account of what possible necessity is.
Yeah, that's not correct.
What is wrong about that?
Yeah, that it's not saying that if some proposition P in some possible world can't fail to exist.
You're just not dude. The proposition must be possibly necessary, dude.
Look, okay. To be clear, the way, and if you want, I can like source you like a logic textbook on this if you want. But all it means to say that diamond box P imply, or what diamond box P means is that P is accessible in world one, or from some given world. We can access P in all given worlds. That's all that's saying.
I agree with that. I literally told you I agree
Okay,
with
but
that.
you keep saying
that
you
isn't
agree with
mutually
that, and your
exclusive with what I
account
said.
is like completely divorced from what I'm saying. But
It's
in
not
any
divorced.
case, sure. So the point there just stands that just entails that something's necessary. So when you say God's possibly necessary, that's just meaning the proposition God is true in all possible worlds. Now, of course, I'm going to deny that, right? And
On
now
what
you would
basis?
have to give me the argument that God is logically necessary.
Yes, per S5. I'm gonna repeat it again, dude. Okay,
No, that S5 doesn't say
Okay,
that
sorry.
any given
Okay.
proposition is logically
I didn't say
necessary.
any given. I don't believe all propositions. Oh, dude, I don't
Okay,
believe all
yep.
propositions are necessary. Okay, that's why I'm telling you propositions that are possibly necessary. There's a
Yeah,
distinction
okay.
between a proposition
saying-
and a proposition that is possibly necessary, dude.
Okay, I'm asking you, what's the argument that God's logically necessary?
I don't. When you say God, are you denoting just the
God
idea of
exists
God,
is
or
logically necessary.
yeah? I'm using S5 to show
but
how God is.
S5, okay, but the point is that you're not going to derive God's logically necessary with S5.
Okay, monkeyboy. Here, let me help you understand. Do you believe that an infinite regress is possibly necessary?
Wait, but this is just tangential. I'm asking right now
No,
if you have...
Sorry, I'm muted. Can you just answer my question? I'm gonna show you how this makes sense.
Well, in a second, because I'm asking if you have an argument that God's logically necessary.
No, I'm about to explain it to you how with this question. It's gonna answer very quick. Do you believe that the universe it is infinitely regressing necessarily?
No,
or
I don't believe that.
Okay, so it's not. Is it a possible necessity that the universe is infinitely regressed?
No.
So there's a contradiction with the infinite regress.
Is there a contradiction with an infinite regress? No.
Yeah. So it is possibly necessary.
No.
Dude, are you okay? Do you know what it means for something to be possibly necessary?
It just means, yeah, I explained like 3 times. It means from some given world, if we can access P in any given accessible world, then P is necessary. It's just what S5 is stating, right? And you're just confused.
Okay, monkey boy,
about
wait.
that.
Do you know what it means? Do you know what necessity is?
Yeah.
Okay, what is necessity?
It just means that, well, in a logical modality, it just means that the proposition is true in every model.
Okay, and possible necessity is?
The same thing.
Okay, so possible necessity is just necessity, right?
Yeah, they're equivalent. That's what the S5 shows.
Okay. Can the infinite regress fail in any possible world?
Can an infinite... What you mean in some world it's not true there's an infinite regress? Yeah.
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 What?
Yeah, it's possible
yeah?
in some given world there's not an infinite regress.
Okay, good. So you believe that that the universe... look, listen. So basically what you're telling me is that the infinite regress is not possibly necessary.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's necessary there's an infinite regress.
Dude, you literally just conceded the whole point. So if you believe... Okay, wait, monkeyboy, what makes something necessary then?
In a logical modality?
Yeah, what makes something necessary?
Something in a logical modality is necessary if it's a theorem of the logic.
What does that mean?
That means it's deducible from, the axioms or the inference rules given the logic, right?
Yeah, good. So, but you believe in necessary truths, right?
System.
Do you believe necessary truths are eternal?
Well, I don't know. I think necessary truths are eternal. Sure.
Okay, so you believe that there are eternal abstract things, right?
Sure.
Okay, so you believe that there is necessity to a thing.
That some things are necessary, yeah. Some propositions are necessarily true. Or formulas are necessarily true.
Okay, good. So what is the distinction between believing in that and God here? Depending on how you define God.
I don't believe that there's an agent that's causally responsible for the universe.
Yeah, like I said, dependent on how, right? That's what I'm saying. Okay, so if we define God as, if we just say that God is anything in which is necessary is God, right? Because I believe that God is the only necessary thing. So per what you're saying,
under what modality?
Under logical modality.
God's a theorem of logic?
No, wait. I believe that. What do you mean theorem of logic?
How do you? Yeah, I'm asking if you can give a logical proof to the proposition God exists.
Yeah, and that is the argument that I gave you earlier. That was the first thing that I gave you.
No, the argument you gave never established one, God is logically necessary. And two, I already explained what it means to say in a modal, in logical modality, to say something's logically necessary just means it's true of every model in the logic, just means it's a theorem or it's a tautology, right? And the proposition God exists is not a theorem of the logic.
Can we conceptualize God?
Sure.
Okay, so then we can say that God is, he's possible at least, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and for something to be necessary, you just must have to come to the conclusion that they are the case, deducing it with logic, right?
No, to say it's necessary just means it's true in every possible world. And what that means is that it's true, it's a theorem that's true always, right? Or it's some formula that's always true in the logic.
Okay, wait, monkeyboy, to determine something is necessary,
or every model.
To determine something is necessary, do you have to make a deductive argument for it being the case?
Yeah, you would have to use, you would have to give a proof.
Yeah, and this has to be deductive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if we find no contradiction, then what?
Then it's possible.
Okay, good. So this is why I don't agree with your account of necessity, right? Because I believe that the correct account, or my account of necessity, is just going to be something in which cannot fail to exist.
Okay.
Okay, do you agree with that?
Well, no, because logical necessity doesn't commit you to anything ontic. You can be an anti-realist about logic and think formulas of a logic are necessarily true and that nothing there exists.
No, but I'm an anti-realist on logic as well. I don't believe that logic is something in which exists concretely.
But you said necessity just means, to say it's necessary just means it always exists, right? But to say that a formula is logically necessary...
It cannot fail to exist in any possible world, yeah.
Yeah, but that commits you to saying that something there exists, right? And you can just deny that. There could be...
What do you mean something there exists?
Yeah, take the formula if with two f's p, then p. You can say that that's true of every formula in classical logic, right? But there's nothing there that exists if you're like an anti-realist about logic.
Yeah, because logic by definition is abstract according to the Aristotelian view.
But under your account, nothing there, then it's not necessarily true, because to say it's necessarily true just means that formula always exists.
Yeah, no, oh my gosh. Do you know the difference between ontological existence and mind-dependent existence?
Yeah, but, now you're just talking about stance-dependent versus stance-independence.
No, because logic exists and doesn't exist in two different senses. Logic exists mind-dependently, but it doesn't exist ontologically.
I don't even know what that means.
Okay, so we believe that, logic is a universal, right?
I understand to say that it's not stance-dependent. It's just to say that it doesn't exist. Are you like,
Yeah, logic doesn't, logic's a universal.
About ontology or something?
Huh?
You know what, Magnonian ontology?
No.
Or Meinongian ontology? Okay, well, it
Do,
talks.
do you,
I think you're talking about some like pluralism where things can exist in one sense where they're mind dependent and not in another. But traditionally, in analytic philosophy, to say that's mind dependent just means it doesn't exist.
yeah, I agree with that. It doesn't exist because
But
look,
you just
when
said
you
it
say that
exists
something,
in a mind dependent way. That just doesn't make sense.
okay, all I mean by that is that it's a mental construct that we know of. That's all that means. That's all that it means. Okay, something that is mentally constructed. It doesn't exist. Henceforth, when you say something doesn't exist, you're just saying that it doesn't have any ontology.
Okay, so all you mean by so now let's just revise your account of logical necessity.
By the way, I have to go in 3 minutes, so I apologize for the guests in there, but we can finish our discussion. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we would want to revise your account of logical necessity because now we want to make it clear it doesn't actually require ontological commitment. So now you just want to say for something to be logically necessary means what?
Yeah, it cannot fail in any possible world.
Okay. And yeah, and I think the proposition God exists can fail in a possible world, in a logically possible world. Yeah, take the proposition God doesn't exist, right? We can express this in symbolic logic or logical notation, and that formula is at least true in one model.
Yeah,
at least in classical logic.
Go ahead, yeah, present it.
Yeah, so in first order logic,
you can use symbolic logic. Yeah, just give an account symbolic logic.
Yeah, so in first order logic, we can express it as negation, existential quantification over X, where X represents God, and we can say it's not the case, or we can say God exists, where E will represent the predicate exist, right? And we can say that formula is at least true in one model.
Yeah, okay, good. So essentially what you believe is that, so according to your view, the universe is eternal, I'm assuming?
By eternal, you just mean like exists in every instance of time? Oh, no, I don't have a view on whether the universe has a beginning or not.
Okay, but you believe that it's possible for the universe itself to have been eternal?
To have no beginning, yeah.
Yeah, so see, this is what we need to talk about. So the reason as to why God, he must exist, right, is because you are left in a trichotomy. It's either that you have an infinite regress of things in which follow each other, in which cause each other dependently, or you have the eternal universe, or you have a higher being. Do you agree?
It just sounds like a dichotomy, to be honest, where God can just be the...
How would it be a dichotomy?
Yeah, it's just to say that the causal regress is either with the beginning or without, right? And then you can say the first causal member in the sequence is God.
That itself would be a dichotomy, right? That itself would be a dichotomy, but I'm giving you a trichotomy, right? And that is that either God created everything, and that is going to be we're defining that as the agent in which caused everything, or we're going to say that the universe is eternal, or we're going to say that the universe itself was caused by something else, and that thing was caused by something else, and that thing was caused by something else.
So you're just saying that either the universe is uncaused, or there's an infinite regress, or a first thing that's God?
Yeah.
Yeah, then that trichotomy is just false.
How's it? So there's an option outside of that?
Yeah, so for the third one, it could be
way.
true there's a first member that causes the universe, and that's not God.
No, sorry, I'm denoting that whatever causes the universe is God.
Oh, well, then that's just an equivocation. Because earlier you said, and you actually said that 10 seconds ago, you meant an agent.
No, it's not. It's not a false equivocation at all. Because you told me, right? You told me that. You told me that whatever the agent is that caused the universe is going to be God. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about an agent. I'm just saying a cause.
No. Yeah, a cause, meaning a causally efficacious thing.
Doesn't require the predicate of being agent.
Is it causally efficacious or not?
Well, yeah. In order to say it is the cause means it has causal
okay,
capability.
if it's causally efficacious and it created the universe, under any paradigm, this would be God.
No, because in order for it to be God, it has to be an agent, and it has to deliberate on bringing about a world or manifesting a world. I'm saying there could be an entity that causes the universe without intentional states.
No, not necessarily. According to sorry, where did you get that
by God. But I asked you earlier if you by God you meant an agent. You said yes. So by God you don't mean an agent.
No, what do you mean by agent though?
What do you mean by agent? Something with intentional states?
No, then I wouldn't agree with that. I believe that God is just going to be the thing in which caused the universe.
Oh, okay.
If you define agent as one who has intention, then no, I wouldn't agree with that.
Okay, well, this account of God kind of just gerrymanders a lot of people's views, where a lot of atheists would just be, under this view, would be accommodated as being a theist or believing there's a God, as long as they believe there's a non-agential cause for the universe. Like imagine people in science believe there's like a more fundamental thing the universe emerged from, which is it causally like delineates from, right? Then you would have to say that they're committed to them being a theist, given they think something caused the universe, even though they don't believe there's an agent.
Well, that's what I believe, right? So I
Okay.
believe that if you do believe in a necessary concrete existence, then you are technically not an atheist. It
I
just
think we should
depends on
make
how
it
you
clear
define.
then
I
that
think
we
no,
mean
I just
God.
made it clear.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying for clarity, what I'm denying is that the disjoint of what's meant by God by my lights being an agent. If you're just saying it's not an agent or doesn't require agency, so there's
Yeah,
at least
no,
just
logically
a
it doesn't.
cause for the universe.
Logically it doesn't. No, logically it doesn't require that.
Yeah, so it's either the universe is uncaused, has a cause, or there's an infinite regress of causes.
Yeah,
Then yeah, I
yeah.
can agree to that.
Wait, just let me explain something real quick. Yeah. So for the chat, there's a difference between metaphysical modality and logical modality. So God with
What is that, by
ethics
the
or
way?
not? Give me a sec.
Metaphysical modality.
So I'll give it to you in a sec. So if we're gonna say that God doesn't have ethics and that he's just a necessary rock, that's not the point here. Metaphysically, it's necessary that God has ethics, right? That's the point. But it's not logically necessary that God has ethics. Okay, because you cannot bring a P and not P with God not having ethics in every possible world. Well, that's fine. But what did you ask? What is metaphysical modality?
Yeah, what is metaphysical modality?
Yeah, so metaphysical modality is going to refer to the actual world and what is possible with it and what's not.
Oh yeah, that I forgot. Yeah, that's why I was question begging from the last guest, Ark. Yeah. So if all you're saying is that, wait, so then what's the difference between metaphysical possibility and necessity, if they both mean true in the actual world?
Yeah, possibility and metaphysical necessity?
Yeah, how is that different from possibility?
No, okay, because metaphysical necessity is something that is the case and it must be the case in the actual world, and metaphysical possibility is something that can be the case in this world.
Oh, so it's like possibility is that's true in the actual world, and necessity is that's always true in the actual world. Maybe like gravity
No,
or
I don't
something.
think you understood. I'll repeat it. So metaphysical necessity is going to refer to something that is necessarily true or that it must be true in this actual world, right?
But the must is
when you
the
refer
modal term, right? The can term I'm trying to unpack.
Yeah, no, that's irrelevant. I'll tell you how. But metaphysical possibility is something that can be true. That's not necessarily true in the possible world or in the actual world. Sorry.
Yeah, but I don't know what the necessity and can talk means.
What do you mean? Can I give you an example?
I mean, you can, but I would rather have like an analysis of what
Go
they
ahead.
mean. Like, and just for like an example of how this is not informative, like.
Monkey, wait, can we like 30 more seconds? Because I gotta go to college.
All right, then you can explain your what you mean by.
Yeah, I'll give you an example of metaphysical necessity, okay? So metaphysical necessity is going to refer to something that must be true in the actual world and that it cannot be any other way in the actual world, but that does not negate that it could be different in a logical and like in a different possible world, okay?
What
Now,
does the must there
metaphysical
mean?
must that it cannot be any other way in the actual world.
And when you say it cannot be any other way in the actual world, what does that mean?
That's primitive. How else do you want me to describe? Like, you know, so when you
okay,
say something,
then I just don't
when you
understand what's being
wait,
communicated.
when you say something, cannot be any other way, right? You're just saying that this itself must exist, depending on what modality you're talking about.
You realize, like in
understand?
a logical modality, it doesn't reduce to this primitive thing. There's like an analysis. If I said
in a
P must
logical
be
modality,
true, it just means that the formula is true in every model.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And you can give a proof for that.
But metaphysical modality is going to be that this must be true in this specific model, which is the actual world.
Wait,
But monkey boy, I do have to go.
I don't understand
Yeah.
this metaphysics talk with the model.
What do you mean? No,
in
when I say
logical
model,
modality-
I'm denoting that just to mean the actual world.
Okay, well that's strange, but yeah, I mean maybe we can continue next time because I have no understanding
Yeah,
still of
hopefully.
what this means.
All right, yeah, no problem. All right, thank you, bro. Have a good day.
All right.